So Dr. Kelsey is a naturopath. She works with Rose City Wellness, which we'll hear from her and also from Sivan later today, who's also with Rose City Wellness. And she is just, we love listening to her talk about the ways that she approaches helping people solve problems in their body, not just like looking at, can we give you a pill to take the symptoms away, but can we find the root cause and how can we address it? Is it with body work? Is it with not pharmacological? Is that the way you say that word? Medicine? So she's just super fun to listen to and definitely thought-provoking. So now that I've completely set her up.
I feel like they all know to expect that by now. Like we're going to talk about what they do.
We're going to talk about how great you are. So just come on and tell us. So I'm going to invite Dr. Kelsey to come and join us. Good morning.
Hello. Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, good.
Totally.
No trouble. Thanks for the intro. Yes. I like doing things without using pharmacological interventions, but I do that sometimes. So I'm a naturopathic doctor. I work here in Portland, and I also see patients virtually. I have for the duration of my career, really, and it's been convenient with COVID especially. And I work pretty exclusively with growing families, so fertility, getting pregnant healthfully, pregnancy co-care, and postpartum support. And so a little bit, if you're not familiar with the naturopathic medicine, kind of like Olivia just alluded to, the goal is really to get to the underlying imbalance that's causing symptoms rather than just treating the symptom. So my example is always heartburn, because most of us have experienced heartburn at some point in our lives for varying different reasons. Usually heartburn because of pregnancy is a little bit different than this example, but nonetheless, usually standard of care is giving a proton pump inhibitor for heartburn, decreasing or changing stomach acid, which is going to alleviate symptoms. But more often than not, there's an underlying cause as to why somebody's experiencing heartburn. So a naturopathic doctor is going to look a little deeper at the stomach acid imbalance. Is there bacteria in the gut or a change of bacteria in the body that's causing heartburn, and then treating there for longer lasting effects. And a lot of times treatments are more related to the body. So herbs, homeopathy, nutritional supplements, nutrition in general, lifestyle, and all that jazz. I have a little slideshow. I'm going to share my screen with you all if I can figure it out. Oh, brother, where did it go? So in working with growing families, as my passion is, a lot of that starts with fertility care, but I see people jump into my practice all the way along the spectrum. So fertility care is a lot of focused on balancing hormones, nutrient deficiencies, and I do a lot of education around low toxic living. So I've done a lot of research and training in environmental medicine, which is the understanding of how our environment is impacting our health, and just simply how many chemicals we're exposed to in our world today compared to what our parents were exposed to when we were in utero and generations prior is immense. And figuring out ways to, limit the exposure of the couple or the family while they're pregnant, and then in turn when baby comes home in that environment. So I'm going to share my screen here. And start my slideshow. So a lot of low toxic living is a passion of mine. And then I also work with couples who are trying to get pregnant through assisted reproductive technology. So IVF or IUI, there's so much naturopathic support that can boost that process in optimizing the health of the body for a healthy pregnancy. And then during pregnancy, a lot of the care is focused on nutrient support, nutrient stability for the pregnant person and the growing fetus, and a lot of just supportive mechanisms for the aches and pains of pregnancy, whether it's with body work or other supportive nutritional modalities. I do my abdominal massage, which is so lovely during pregnancy, postpartum, and for fertility. During pregnancy, it starts about week 20. And it's so great. It's an external body work, doing anterior work over the womb and the pelvis, and then a pregnant person lies side lying either side for some posterior work to work on the pelvis. It's great at bringing healthy blood flow to the womb, supporting the aches and pains of pregnancy around ligament pain, pelvic pain, pubic bone pain, and then also just preparing baby for optimal fetal position for labor. And I always knew throughout my life, even when I was a kiddo, that I wanted to work in the realm of fertility and with pregnant people. And it wasn't until I had my own kiddos that I realized that a lot of the challenge is postpartum. So I work with a lot of families postpartum as well, making sure that the gut gets rebalanced and hormones are balanced. Lactation support, all of it is really a passion of mine, and I love working with families in that regard. Nutrition is another big component of it. Figuring out what nutrients the body really responds well to. Specifically, I have a lot of training in MTHFR, or nutrigenomics, epigenetics. All of those are little buzzwords these days. If you're not familiar, it's the study of how food, nutrients, and our environment impact our genes, our genetics, and how those genetics influence how enzymes react in our body. So there's a lot of correlation with genetic expression and health and wellness, as well as pathology and imbalances in our body. So I like to look at those things as well. I made this sweet little list, really just common symptoms that people come in to see me for: fertility, pregnancy, postpartum related. I'm not going to read everything, but you are welcome to look at it and just sort of get a glimmer and glimpse into the type of things that I'm really familiar with working on with folks. And then I also do some blogging. I call them articles. I try to cite my work with research, or my information with research. So that's on my website if you're interested in navigating through there and reading some things. And then I wanted to, so a lot of my passion is creating what I need when I'm working on things in my life is actionable steps. We can all go to Google, we can all find the information on like, how am I gonna support this one thing in my life that I'm working on, but working with somebody directly to create those actionable steps is what I need and what I like to facilitate for folks. So we're all inundated with stress right now. If you're pregnant, if you're expecting a baby, if you're postpartum, no doubt with a global pandemic and all the above, there's just so much going on. The more we can do to support our adrenal glands, the more we can do to support our stress response, the better we're all gonna fare down the road. So here I just posted a few things to integrate into calming more moments throughout your day. One of them is regular sleep and wake cycles. So getting a routine for melatonin, our sleepy hormone, to signal during the night, and then cortisol, our morning get up and go hormone to signal in the morning. And even babies, if you're home with an infant, babies love routine. There's definitely that shift of less sleep that happens with an infant, but routine is still something that everyone can really kind of fare better from. Protein at every meal is a really great way to keep blood sugar balanced. If blood sugar is imbalanced, then cortisol can also be imbalanced, and that is going to correlate to varying levels of altered stress response on a hormonal level. And then breathing, as I take a deep breath. Breathing is so important. I was a yoga teacher for a really long time, and that's where a lot of my passion came from, supporting bodies and creating an environment for health and wellness. So breathing is something we do thousands, millions of times a day, but we don't really think much about it. Most of us do. I'm totally guilty of this myself. So I wrote a couple of ideas of incorporating more breathing, mindful breathing into your day, as simple as 1 minute every hour, setting your timer on your phone to go off even just half the day. So like a total of 4 or 5 minutes throughout the course of the day where you pause and breathe mindfully. You can also just set aside 5 or 10 minutes each morning for breathing and mindfulness and connecting to your body. It's so easy to overlook those simple things, but even just breathing is going to increase that parasympathetic nervous system response, that rest and digest state. And the more we can do that, the more we can kind of push out or diminish that sympathetic nervous system response, the fight or flight. And in that rest and digest state is where we're going to have healthy hormones and create a healthy, stable environment for growing a fetus, which is so much work and so wonderful. And I have more information of like a whole guide on my website with more information on how you can kind of soften stress and create an environment for health in your own body and your own home. And that's that. So there's my info. I know that Sarah also posted some information there on her end. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and come back to you all. And I also do just 15-minute free consults. So anytime someone's curious about the work that I do and how it relates specifically to their care, you can schedule a 15-minute consult. We can connect on your health goals and see if we'd be a good fit to work together. Yeah, I think that's it.
We've got a question.
Okay.
Diana asks, are you still offering the massage services now during COVID time?
Yeah, really good question. I have been for my returning patients. It's, working under naturopathic license is a little different than a massage license. So I've been doing body work. And I also do it for folks virtually. It's a little more limited in the sense that I'm teaching the technique from afar, but still super therapeutic. I often talk about my own, and during COVID, not being able to get body work, my period started changing, the type, the consistency of my blood started changing, and I started doing more of my abdominal massage just as self-care, and it changed everything. Just that in itself, it's really, really powerful work. So I can do it from afar and also in person. COVID safe for sure.
Wow, that's crazy. Sorry, just hearing it, just like implementing this one thing.
It's so powerful and so gentle. It's not like sometimes I hesitate to use the word powerful because nobody really wants to talk about powerful things happening to their pelvis, but powerful in a sense that it's effective.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a comment here that says, Gabby says she lives in Orlando, so she doesn't know if you have any places you can recommend for where she could go for some Maya abdominal massage.
Totally. So I was trained with the Arvigo Institute. I can write it in the chat box too. And their website, it should be, they were kind of undergoing some administrative changes, but I think it's still populated where you can kind of search for a provider in your area who's done training through them.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good question.
Before you go, I just want to thank you for that little bit of like free value that you gave us all with the adrenal support today. I feel like being in quarantine, being at home, I was reading all that and like taking notes and being like, I have to incorporate this into my life. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, I figured more than just talking about myself. I like it when people share some of their insight, and I might as well, if anything, like you say, with some stress support is so needed right now. For sure.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you for being here today, Kelsey.
Yeah, thanks for having us. You guys do such a good job with this event. It's so lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to put Kelsey's info back up on the screen so that you all can find her.